So, it's been a while since I've actually filmed here in the shop, but I've got a ton of stuff going on. Lots of progress on the Fiesta, which is great. But yeah, basically, besides getting a bunch of text messages right now, got all the rest of the brake lines basically fitted up, cut to length, ready to go, need to be crimped. And then let's show you what's going on outside, or inside, or in the shop, or whatever. So we've got all the gold wrapping on the firewall, harness is all wrapped, everything's fire protected there. Got the fire suppression nozzle fitted, and all of the lines for the fire suppression in. I've been working on electrical and getting things to work. I've now got the horn working. The push button start works. There's a USB little outlet that's got a voltmeter in it as well. That's working. I've got all the wiring in the car at this point, including the dash harness. I've got the gauge cluster does light up and is communicating, so that's good. We've been working on a shifter solution because despite this extension here being further back, we still needed to gain another 3 or 4 inches here, but the shift knob is like a pull thing like this to make the reverse lockout section pull up there so that you can get it over and into reverse, right? But you need to be able to reach that when you're sitting back here and the shift knob is all the way there. So I've been working on that, and yeah, got the center console basically all made up. I think I'm in a good spot with this. I need to just kind of finish what I need to do to get this 100% mounted in the car, and then we can put all the secondary switches and things in this center console, which will go right between the seats, which would be super nice. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more going on than just that, but it's been a lot of electrical work and rerouting things and doing this and doing that, and yeah, it's been a lot of work. So we are gonna get the external reservoirs mounted up today. I got these little external reservoir mounts from TMR in Canada, and they basically work with just a simple hose clamp. So they're basically gonna go something like that. I don't know if you can see that. So they'll go around that hose clamp, and then that'll get welded to the firewall, and then or strut tower, I should say, and we can finally get the reservoirs mounted up. This one's gonna go under here, and I think I gotta just check the clearances for the wiper motor and some other stuff, but it should be fine there. This one's gonna be just inside the frame rail down there, and be out of the way of the motor. And yeah, I'm hoping to get that stuff done today and get the motor back in the car, I think, for the final time. It doesn't have to come out anymore. So yeah, we should be pretty good to go there. Once I get the motor in the car, I can finish up. I bought a connector for this, because now that we've got this main starter power wire running through the harness and the grommet and the firewall and kind of all nicely looped all the way back to the battery relocation. There's not a way to easily disconnect this. The other end of that is actually wrapped up in the harness. As you can see here, this is wrapped up in the actual engine harness. So I didn't want to take all that apart and destroy that just to separate this completely from itself and then have, you know, the wire by itself disconnecting over there. So we're just going to put in a connector here. I'll make that super easy. And yeah, and then I'll be able to also finish up that clutch line. And that's the last line I have to do in the bundle of lines that need to be made. So yeah, I'll do these external mounts. Motor will go in. I'll do the clutch line, the starter connector, and bleed the clutch before we go any further. Just want to make sure that we 100% got the clutch system correct before we do any sort of bundling up or finishing up on everything else, because the slave cylinder in these is an internal slave and throw-out bearing together, and sometimes they go in wrong and you can break them pretty easily. So I want to confirm that before we kind of continue buttoning up things, and then we'll get the front end back on, which is the whole rad pack, intercooler, oil cooler. At that point we can finish the oil cooler lines that feed to the motor, the oil filter housing, run all of the electrical that's still left. You got that side there, not much on this side. This side is really just you know, like a couple of wires on this side, which is nice. The horn has got to get remounted back to the front rad support. I was doing that to test to make sure I got the horn button wiring working correctly, and the horn does work. Yeah, then it's pretty much just finish up the heater core plumbing, which I've got to do some stuff with this side of the firewall. I've got to finish doing all this stuff over here, get that all routed correctly. And then there's some electrical stuff here, which is not really any big deal. Mostly all of these wires are controls that come with the heater core and plug in directly. And then you've got a couple of wires for the same thing. You got another little power harness with ground. Again, pretty simple and straightforward stuff. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, then I can put fluids in it. We can start it, we can run it. Obviously probably do the axles before we, you know, put the gear oil in it. Yeah, we can do all that stuff and start testing systems, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure all the fittings are tight, just kind of run it on an idle through its paces, make sure everything's good. You know, bleed the brakes, bleed that clutch, like I said, do all the rest of the fluids, engine oil, trans oil, coolant, and everything. Make sure everything's all good. If we're all good, then it's basically, you know, weld on the skid plate support bar and get the skid plate mounted, which is sitting over here. And yeah, bolt on the front end stuff, put the dashboard in it, put glass in it, put seats and belts in it, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty much done. I mean, there will be a few other little odds and ends that still need to get done to be, you know, 100% good to go for racing, but all stuff the customer can handle at that point. So yeah, we're getting close. I'm going to try my best to get some more video and some more coverage of the progress of things. It's been very difficult to remember to shoot video while I'm working. I don't like stopping, washing my hands, and getting my camera and doing all of that stuff. So, but yeah, this is basically where we're at. And the next update probably will be, you know, motor in the car and possibly running. So fingers crossed. It's going to be about another week or so I think, in all. But I should be done with this thing hopefully next week. If you like what you see, like, share, subscribe. I think that's what they say. And if you can, comment. We'd love to interact with our fans, our customers. It's pouring outside. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the share, subscribe, get it to your friends. Let's get this stuff around.